Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky in your mind. Get on the board. We're soaring on top of the
Hello, welcome to Revive Hi-Fi Canada, and we are now featuring on today's speaker feature. We are featuring the PSB 30R speaker. They are vintage legacy products from the PSB company. Paul and Sue Barton, I believe, is what PSB stands for. I believe they've been making speakers from the 70s, 80s. And they recently celebrated, I think, the big brother of these speakers as one of their legacy products that they had made. And I agree. This is their little brother, the PSB 30R. It stands about 14 inches tall. It has a very nice curved edge on the front. It has cool grills that are made of some sort of board type material that are covered with a very nice fabric that is held up. So these are pushing around 40 years old, these speakers. I picked these up and I refoamed them probably about, I would say about 6-7 years ago. And actually no, more like 5 years ago. And I've gotten rid of many speakers, but I just tend to keep holding on to these. And there's a reason for that. For their time, they are punching way beyond their weight. They have these nice curved edges on the front, like I was saying, and if I read correctly, therefore, perhaps they actually have a sonic function I can't remember what the sonic function was. I think it's something to do with deflecting waves. So I don't quite remember, but they have quite a nice look to them with those curved fronts. I thought they were aesthetic at first, and they have quite a nice set of grills, as I said before. I love the brown color fabric on the grills. The wood on the outside of the cabinet is a vinyl wrap. It is not a real wood veneer, which is kind of the sad. It would have been nice if they were real wood veneer, but hey. I also they actually have a 6.5 inch woofer, and they have a 3/4 inch tweeter, and that is the star of the show, and we'll talk more about that on this discussion. But they also have a front port, and if you can see on the right side, on the right speaker, it's a very small, tiny little hole in the front, and that was what they call that's its bass port. I can tell you that these put out tremendous bass. I don't have the specs. I think they might be a little old. I know their big brother went down into the 40s in terms of bass response. I would say the 40R, but the 30R I would say gets pretty close. I never feel a lack of bass for these. When I first started, getting back into this hobby, we had these as our main speakers, and we didn't use them with a sub, so they worked excellent. They do like power. The right now I powered it with a 80 watt per channel Marantz stereo receiver, but the more I tried it with the Cayenne that we have that it's sitting on top of, and that also sounded really nice. I can tell you that these speakers sound well with all kinds of music. It's not like classical music, rock music, any type of music you throw at these, hip hop. I enjoy the sound of all of it with these speakers. They're excellent. I used to listen to a lot of Fleetwood Mac on these speakers, and yeah, that sounds great. Santana, wow, it sounds really, all this instrument separation is quite something on Santana's music. And another thing that's quite interesting about these speakers is, at first I thought these were a sealed box. Many of the newer speakers that come through that we have much bigger bass ports, but this bass port does shoot air from inside the case. I don't know, it's kind of being held up by such a small hole, but maybe that was a design strategy when they were making the speaker. It has a 6.5-inch woofer that I refoamed. It also after I received them, because these are quite old and the foam can pretty much evaporate over time. It kind of just falls apart, disintegrates. And then it has a 3/4 inch tweeter, and I believe it is a Philips made tweeter. And wow, that tweeter is definitely ahead of its time. That's all I can say, is that it's nothing but impressive. The size of being about 14 inches tall, I think gives it a little bit more heft. They're super heavy, these speakers. It also, just the thickness of the wood on the casing, on the cabinet, is, I'd say, about 3/4 inch thick, which is pretty impressive, maybe more. I think it's huge. It's very well made and very heavy. It's well braced, the cabinet. You can tell that there was a lot of good workmanship that went into these speakers. The drivers are super heavy when you take them out to refoam them. But in my opinion, the tweeter is really amazing on these and rivals easily some of the newer speakers that I've tried on our channel so far. And we can start with those. We can start with the highs. So the highs on these speakers amaze me. They catch every detail that's in the song. And these are really old speakers. The highs on these tweeters are just nothing short of surprising to me. They catch every detail, they remind me of the Boston Acoustics CR7 that we reviewed, that were rear ported, so they were a little shorter. They were 12 inches tall, and they had a 6.5 inch woofer. These also have a 6.5 inch woofer. I believe this woofer in our rephone, it felt like it was made of paper based material, a cellulose based material, so it was really nicely, it just has a great bass response, and it has an excellent clarity from these speakers. For the time, it's just similar to what I said about the Boston CR7, is that it has kind of it's ahead of its time kind of feel to these speakers. And these speakers are even older than the Boston CR7s, and they have a 6.5 inch woofer inside a 14 inch box, which is more of an older type of design, with some of the new speakers being 5-inch woofers being inside a 12-inch box with a rear port, which is a lot of speakers out there use that type of design. The highs are absolutely gorgeous. The mids are excellent too. They're pretty linear, the speaker. It's really amazing. The lows and the mids are just, the voices sound very natural on these speakers. So when you do listen to bands like Fleetwood Mac, it just, Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie, they sound amazing on these speakers with women's voices, and male voices sound excellent too. And the lows are where you think that maybe you did have a subwoofer, because they will surprise you. These have extremely good bass, and PSB is one of those companies that never ceases to amaze me about the amount of bass and even the quality of bass that they're able to achieve out of small speaker cabinets. And This is no different, but I mean, these are much larger than some of the other PSB speakers that I've had on the channel. We had the PSB Image 4B. I remember that had only a 4-inch woofer, but even that had some bass to it. This is much larger, and yeah, I never used a sub with these. I still don't, and I've moved them to the garage, and I use them to listen to music while I'm working in my garage, and they do an amazing job at that too. Such high clarity that comes out of these speakers. The sound stage on these speakers will blow you away. They wide and high. They just project all over the room. Very surprising, actually. And the imaging, like the stereo images very well. You have it in the middle. Every instrument within the image is separated extremely nice. The tweeter does a fantastic job. It is an amazing tweeter on this age of speaker. Typically, some of the older speakers that I've used tend to maybe get a little bit less accurate when the music gets busier, and this is not one of them. This does an excellent job, this PSB. So yeah, soundstage imaging, highs, lows, mids, build quality, outstanding all the way around, especially for its age. So that's pretty much all I got to say about this speaker. These are really good, and I will just keep going on listening to them. So thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again next time on Revive Hi-Fi Canada. See you again, and if you like our channel, please subscribe. Bye.